Step 4, your recipe for fear. As I talked about earlier, there's a sequence of things we need to do to be happy, to be sad, to be fearful, to be anxious. We have to picture something in our mind. We have to say something to ourselves. We have to feel a certain way, breathe a certain way, have a certain posture. There's a bunch of things we are doing. In this part, we look about how to dismantle those parts, how to focus on the different elements and disrupt that pattern. Now, in the present, if you change certain things, you change how you feel. And so if you think about Harry Potter and the ridiculous spell, if you've read the books or seen the movies, they do the ridiculous spell and suddenly that scary spider is cute and on roller skates. The scary teacher suddenly has a funny hat and is insignificant, or the full moon becomes a balloon. We can do that with the images we make in our mind, with the sounds we talk in our head, with the feelings we have. So you may have come across things called re-edits. Now this is where someone's taken a trailer for a movie, recut it to make it look like, say, a comedy. So they've taken a horror, made it look like a funny movie or a romantic movie. And so by changing the pacing of the shots, by changing the music, they change the feel of the movie. Now we can do that with our own movies. And so in step 5, we come on to a process of rewinding and forward winding and scrambling it at the root cause. But just very quickly now, if you were to think about that thing you're scared of and imagine it as it was black and white, take that image and push it far away into the distance. Does it feel better or worse? Imagine it now, that movie was like a tiny dot. That thing you're scared of, that image was a tiny dot, and you're just going to tower above it like a giant. Does it feel less significant or more significant? And now imagine that image like it was a cartoon, or everyone in it had floppy wigs on and big shoes. Would it take out the power of what you're imagining? And the same with your internal dialogue, your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself when you're afraid? Imagine that voice. Notice where that voice comes from. Notice its tonality. Now, what would happen if you took the tonality and made it half as loud? So you made it really quiet, so it's like a whisper. Better or worse? What would happen if you moved the location of it? So say it comes from your left ear, you moved it to your right ear. What would happen if you took that voice and made it like the most boring teacher you ever heard? Or maybe you take that voice that scares you. Oh no, I'm in danger. Oh no, I need to get out. And you said it like it was Mickey Mouse. Oh no, I need to get out. What would happen to the emotions you link to it? For most people, they would go down. And if they haven't, it's probably a sign. If you're resistant to changing those, it's a strong sign that your mind thinks it needs it to be ready or prepared. And that comes back to step 2 of the secondary game, that this behavior is trying to meet a need. So practice that, play with those sounds and do all the different techniques for challenging beliefs and playing with images and all those other tools that are in step 4, and notice what it does to your representation of your fear.